Welcome to the Not Nerd Show. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello to you, Mr. Nate. I just want to say to all of you out there listening, this is a place for I had this all. I thought about this earlier, and I thought about it. Tech help for not nerds. That's what we do. That's who we are.
Yes.
We provide tech help, tech tips for not nerds. So welcome.
Yes.
I'm glad you're here.
Yes, we've got plenty of technology, and our most helpful main topic, I believe, in a very long time, especially because it applies to me this week. But yes, we are live on YouTube, and I do have a haticle.
It looks like you might have a hat there for us to see.
And then last week, my pick of the week was my new hat press for making custom hats.
Yeah.
And we'll be discussing later, but I've never been able to buy a cool trucker hat from Mr. Beast, so I made my own.
You know what, Nate? This is going to be a lot like when I first got my 3D printer. I just made all kinds of stuff that I didn't need, and a lot of it ended up in the trash. Is this what your hat obsession is going to be like? Where there's like 30 hats?
Yeah, there's already many hats around, piles of hats, but not ones that I've made yet. But this is one of them. Yeah. So I thought I'd show it off for last week's pick of the week that you can find at notpicks.com.
It looks like it turned out really well.
This one did.
How did you deal with the... I got something on my hat. I got to get rid of that. How did you deal with the outline of the
edges? So I pressed it lighter, and I'm looking to see if I still have any. Oh yeah, here's a couple. So it's this direct to film transfer. So I purchased this, and then you lay this down, and it's not, the ink just comes off the back with heat. So there's a little sneak peek at some future hats right there.
So how was the ink applied to the film? Through an
it's a special process. Yes, it is a certain type of inkjet printer, but you need to have special ink. So I won't be doing that at home. No, it's certain kinds of inkjet printers and then special ink with those. Once I started reading that, I was like, no, I've got a good place online where I can buy them pretty cheap, and that makes a lot more sense than having another printer that won't work half the time at home.
I see. You upload them and then they ship them to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And for those of you at home, don't go buying HP printers and thinking you can put different ink in those. Because remember my horror story from like a month ago. Just don't do it. Just don't buy an HP printer for any reason. You want their computer? Great. You want their server? Fine. Just don't buy their printers.
Yep.
End of rant.
Rant ended. Well, I did have, I should mention at the top of the show that on Sunday I recorded the Mark and Todd cast. Mark was not available, so I did that, and it should be available anywhere you find a podcast. Now the Mark and Todd cast, and we talked about all kinds of fun stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I was down in Sin City.
Oh yes, you were
during that recording, so I was not able to participate. I was sinning. Now I was helping a friend move, but I did spend $4 at the airport slot machine, and I lost all but 20 cents.
Nice.
I printed the coupon and handed it to the lady next to me and said, "Here you go, Merry Christmas." And she was very thankful for that 20 cents.
Nice.
And I vowed never to gamble again, at least that day.
Yes. And until you're in a Vegas airport with $4 again.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Well, let's just keep on moving.
Let's do it.
So we've been talking, we got the iPad mini last week, I think it was announced, just a quiet press release. Mark Gurman said that next week we could get a new Mac announcement. Oh, and producer Todd, also from the Mark and Todd cast, top tier promo for the M&T cast. Also, Dave's video is really laggy. It's keeping up, but dropping frames by like half.
Yes. You know, we experienced this last week, and I think people were so enamored by Nate's good looks that they didn't notice. I have the video going into a
Oh.
cam link, which is going into OBS, and I think there must be something with the cam link settings. I I could try to adjust the resolution, but it's going to mess stuff up.
The
So I
fun of
think,
going live, we live with it.
yeah. So I think we're going to be okay today. But yeah, I can notice in my preview window where I'm going about 5 frames a second, which it's kind of old timey a little
Yeah. And I can confirm for everybody that uses studio.youtube.com during their YouTube live streams,
bit. Mm-hmm.
the little heart reaction thing that used to be over part of the chat has now been moved
Mine is
below
moved
the
too.
chat. And multiple, so YouTube, I almost put it in the show notes this week. YouTube has been making some improvements,
It's only
which
been
they
like
don't
25
seem to do
years.
too often, but it seems like they're listening to people. There's some stuff on the creator side, but also in the YouTube players that they're moving around, hopefully to make it a more enjoyable experience. So I'm going to throw a little confetti into the chat just to,
Do your thing, won't it? And do its.
well, do we
What's
get
the
our,
what's the
do
confetti
we
one?
do we finally, oh, in the chat, if you hold down on the heart, there's multiple reactions now.
What?
Yes.
Prove it.
You can do heart, smiley face, wow, embarrassed face, and 100.
100.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man,
come in when you come in live chat, test those out. Test
that's
out the new reactions. I guess if you join live, we'll just remind you every 1 minute that if
yes.
you're in the chat, try some reactions.
I haven't had this much fun doing things like this since 5 minutes ago.
Yes,
That's
yes.
how
So
fun it is.
anyways, new Macs next week.
Yes.
It will probably be the MacBook Pros and a new Mac Mini. So if you're looking to buy a laptop or a Mac Mini this week, wait until next week for
So the
the new computers.
but on the screen I have the iPad Mini, which is out right now. The new
It is
iPad Mini.
now available. I saw a couple reviews. I didn't really read anything too in depth, but everybody seems like it's a very good bump for the
Yeah.
iPad. What every pilot loves. Is that
Yes.
what The Verge claimed on that article?
Every pilot in the world loves it.
Yes. Well, and speaking of iPads and beyond, our main topic this week is something that has hit home in the last couple weeks, and I wanted to talk about, we all have all these gadgets. We have some gadgets that are very important to us, some that are less important, but what happens when they aren't working anymore or aren't working like we want them to, or something is wrong with them?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? And famously, notably Apple, they get a lot of attention for it, but like all smartphones now, it's not like you can really repair. It's pretty hard to do anything yourself. And even computers are a lot harder to just fix something yourself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to talk through some basic steps of thinking through things on this. First one, basic troubleshooting. I was at the Apple store with my iPad Pro. I took it out of my backpack. I hadn't used it in a little bit. Tried to turn it on, and you will see in the video, Dave has it now. And
I'm trying to turn it on.
turn on, do nothing. I tried everything at home. So this morning I was able to get an Apple Store appointment. I went in there. He hooked it up to one laptop with the special adapter and thing, and it wouldn't read it. He went and got a different laptop and a different adapter, plugged it in. He said, "Oh, it's running. I'll run this test. I'll be right back." Comes back and he goes, "Well, we know it's not going to turn on anymore." And he said, "It'll probably be more expensive to replace, or more expensive to repair than to replace
Yeah.
this, especially since it's about 4 years old. So to get a new one there'd probably be some features that would be worth it." But across from me, it was a group of four older people, all seemingly there together to support one person's iPhone not working correctly.
There was a
And they're
gaggle of oldies, huh?
and he had an older, I believe it was an iPhone 12, which still had a SIM card, and he wasn't able to make calls or do text messages. So the Apple specialist went and got a different phone to put the SIM card in, and then he put it back in the phone, and it started working, which reminds of me. Sometimes you just got to turn it off, turn it back on, check your connections, and things will start working. So maybe, hopefully for you, it's something minor, not like my iPad Pro just going completely kaput. Dave spent some time on it this afternoon and let me know as soon as we got on video that he has not gotten it to turn on yet. So
it's still black, but I'm still trying. And a side note, as we continue down this, it's very relevant.
yeah,
The friend I was helping move is an older fellow, and he kept complaining over the past few weeks that he could make phone calls, but he couldn't get online. He couldn't send text messages. And I said, well, let's make sure your cellular thing is turned on, your roaming's turned on, all that stuff. And it was. So he didn't want to do it, but I said, we need to go to the AT&T store where you bought this phone and have the person look at it, because they have the ability, because they're the ones who run the network. It's not an Apple thing. It's not a me thing. It's not a phone thing. AT&T is your internet provider. So we went in there, and the gentleman ejected the SIM card. Well, he did some testing and determined that it was not getting any data, even though it was paid for. You had to put a new SIM card in it. That was that simple. The SIM card somehow had been damaged or broken or just quit working, and that solved the problem. So you never know. And the pro tip on this is take advantage of free service from your carrier store and or the Apple store.
yes,
It's not really a Google store or a Microsoft store, unfortunately. But if it's free and they can train you or teach you or potentially fix something, don't bother your children. Don't bother your friends. Don't bother your coworkers. Just take the trip to the Apple store or the AT&T store,
yeah,
and maybe your problem can be fixed for free like that.
yes, yes. Yes, and I did put as the second thing on this little list I threw together. Ask us. There's a good chance we can at least quickly tell you what our diagnosis is on
Yeah.
something, because we probably have experience with whatever you might be using, especially Apple products, but other stuff as well.
Yeah,
And
just like my friend, I knew that he needed to
yeah,
talk to the carrier. So
yeah. And the next one I had, you just mentioned, go to Apple for Apple.
yeah,
Apple is a very good place. It didn't cost me anything. You do have to schedule and go there. You can ship it off, but then,
yeah,
well, if it's not working, I guess it doesn't matter if you ship it off. But the guy was very honest with me, and telling me, he's like, I can have a sales rep come over and get you a new iPad if you need to right after. And I'm like, it's not that important. Not telling him that I would find one cheaper
yeah,
elsewhere.
yeah.
But
And
he was
honestly,
very frank about it.
they don't work on commission. They don't really care if you buy it
Yeah.
from them or what. So
Yeah, yeah. So he was very friendly. So that is an advantage on Apple stuff.
mm-hmm.
The next one after that, I went to Batteries Plus, which is very close, and I took my iPad in there. Just asked the guy. He plugged it into the thing, and he's like, I can't tell you anything on this, and we don't even mess with these newer iPad Pros because they're just too complicated. But I also had the iPad that Isla uses is my old iPad Pro, and I looked it up. It's the iPad Pro 10.5 inch, which is from, I think I got it in maybe 2018, so
Mm-hmm.
6 years old. But the battery life is much diminished. So I asked there, and I said, hey, what would it cost to replace the battery on this? And he said, oh, it'd be like $115. We don't have them in right now, but we could order one. And then we have special technicians that work on the Apple stuff. And I was like, $115, that's better than getting a new iPad. But then I started thinking about it, and there's a few factors. And I was going to bring this up with you, Dave, to see your thoughts in my calculations on this, because it's about 6 years old. It is an iPad Pro, but I mean, it's older one, and I realized as I was driving home, it has Lightning, not USB-C,
Mm.
and I am on a mission to move to USB-C in my house.
Yeah.
And even the base model iPad that you can get around $300 would be good enough for her. So, do you spend 115 to get a new battery? And I think the charging port might be a little bit loose. You kind of have to make sure the cable's in there right. So I don't want to get that fixed because then it would definitely be the price of an iPad.
Well,
So do you spend the 115 to get a new battery and an old iPad, or do you spend $300 and get a new iPad?
I got so many iPads around here. I'm looking for the iPad. Where's the other iPad that I had? Oh, here it is. So this is the 10th,
Oh yeah.
10th, 11th.
Yeah, you still got that one for sale, huh?
Well,
You know,
Valerie's
that's another tip I didn't add on the list. If you need technology, ask Dave. He might have
I
one laying
probably have
around
one
for
for
you.
sale. Valerie going to use this one,
Yeah.
but the price is so low right
Yeah.
now on these. This is the base regular iPad now. I don't even remember. Is it the 10th gen?
Yes, the 10th generations when they switch it to the USB-C in the new form factor.
It works very much like and the form factor is very much like an iPad Pro, very much like an iPad Air, and it has the camera at the top. It's got USB-C, I believe. Yeah, USB Type C. It's got speakers on the sides.
Yeah. Not as much as the Pro. I was looking at the comparison on Apple's site.
What it
We do
lacks
have
is Face ID. You have to use
Oh,
the Touch
yes,
ID.
it's got the touch, which I think that's fine. Couple more chats. Producer Todd, is that the MacBook Air 2? No, I do not believe the MacBook Air would be updated next week. That's on a different cycle. And Wes recommends get a new battery and sell it, then buy a new one. But I don't think I could get more than $115 for that iPad if I fix the battery is the problem.
Well, you know what I like to do is just as you can't see it here, but on my wall over here, I have a Kindle Fire 10-inch that displays my security camera right outside the door here. And then I have an old iPad mini that I got for free that had a broken screen that I replaced the screen in myself, and it has a clock, a persistent clock. So they can be one factor things in your office to do your calendar or to do your to-do list or a camera or whatever, and you can just put them on your wall. It's great.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a nerd. I don't know if you noticed just by looking at me.
Yeah, so I think that is a second generation iPad Pro, possibly. I'm just looking on Gazelle to see if what they say on there. If
the Pros are great and they last a long time because they usually have a lot of RAM. They have fast processors. They have nice screens, and the technology is like the latest and greatest. And so they last like 6, 8, 10 years. They're great.
Yeah, so it looks like Gazelle will give me $91 for it as I quickly calculated. So for
I'll
that
give you
one,
$20 for it.
maybe I'll buy her a new one and then use that one when I need an iPad, because I don't need one all the time, but when I do need them in certain circumstances, an iPad is very helpful. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do for myself, but so you get, and here's a fun fact. When I was at Batteries Plus and he said, yeah, we don't work on these iPads, he told me, check with We Fix or whatever it is, the one just down the, he actually recommended
another place
for me to another place to go check with them. And I did see today that Best Buy, if you don't have an Apple store near you, or if you can't get an appointment in an Apple store, Best Buy has official Apple reps within their stores now too. So
I mean,
those are just some options for you.
There's something to be said for repairing old technology and using it to keep it out of the landfill. And then, when you buy a new one, it's like, well, they had to make that, they had to ship it, they had to do all this stuff. So it is, quote, greener to just fix what you have and use what you have.
Yes.
But, I just like to have all this technology and these screens around me, and I just curl up in a ball and lay them all on top of me like a blanket. And so one more old device is, just keeps me warmer.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
not weird at all.
No, but it is a good reminder that you need to think through the holistic cost when you are thinking through those things. I mean, you have to look at your budget. You have to look at, if you want to try to repair it yourself, which is just harder and harder. If you want to spend the time and frustration on that,
Mm-hmm.
um, and compare the product you have versus a new version of that product, if it might be worth the extra investment for the features you're getting or the extra longevity you're going to be getting down the road. So it isn't an easy one answer for
No.
everything. And I will recommend, I know we've talked about before, like on our spring cleaning episodes, but if it is something like my iPad that is basically a paperweight now, as far as I know, would be looking for a good place to donate it. We're lucky enough in Sherwood to have the LV Electronics
LV. Yeah.
Recycling, and they'll take anything and they try to do whatever they can to make money off of it when you donate it, or recycle it the best way you can. And the Apple Store employee said, "Hey, I can take this and recycle it right now." He did not offer me a trade-in like
No.
you suggested he should have, Dave, but
Yeah.
Apple tries to do very good. So, yeah, don't just throw it in the garbage because you got all that stuff in there that someone can hopefully use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
That iPad in the hands of Apple could be reused. They could take it
yeah,
apart. They could repair it themselves, sell it for more than you could sell it for, um, and
yes.
keep it out of the landfill.
Yes. And then also just a good reminder when you're thinking about this stuff is, for one backup is none backup.
That's right, Nate. You can't move forward unless you back up. Behold the power of backup.
Yes. And so think about that. Mine iPad, it backs up to iCloud. So I have all the information. There's nothing really critical. But if it was my laptop or my phone, which are much more critical,
Mm-hmm.
those are also backed up. But I was also going to mention, just in the thought of this, is a lot of people have a lot of old technology. And you and I were even talking about this actually earlier this week, when I was talking about my iPad problems. Is you were like, I just need to fire up all my old devices. But I know a lot of people have like an old laptop that I've had friends say, I've got this old laptop in my garage. I should really have you look at it because there's some family pictures on there and stuff. And think through, if you have old devices that you're like, that thing's not very good anymore, I should just get rid of it. Think through if there's stuff on there that you might want in the future, and don't dilly dally on maybe getting that stuff off of there and then making some room in your house by getting rid of some old gadgets. But
Yeah.
that was just something else I wanted to mention. But yeah, stuff breaks, and luckily my iPad is one of the least painful things to have me go kaput. It also is very non-typical for an iPad. I mean, like the one Isla uses, it's been used a lot more than my newer one, and it's 7 years old and it's running pretty much fine. But um, yeah,
And I
technology, it breaks,
and I
and
want to
you can
remind
sometimes get it fixed.
and I
Well,
want to
you can usually get it fixed. Is it worth getting it fixed is the problem.
and it's a reminder for people, don't ever hesitate to go to the Apple store online, scroll clear to the bottom, and right here, certified
Yeah,
refurbished.
I was looking in there today.
Click that link. iPad. Let's see what you can get, Nate. For $249, an $80 saving, you can get the ninth generation iPad. I wouldn't recommend it,
No,
but for
lightning.
250 bucks. So there you go.
Yeah,
Let's see
yeah,
what that 10th generation one is selling for refurbished. Doesn't look like they have any in stock right now. And that's another thing, is go back often because the stock changes
yeah.
when they get stuff
Stock
in.
changes, and also I was looking today on for the renewed products, like you've
Yes,
talked about before,
I've
where
had
you can
very
get.
good luck with renewed Amazon
y-
products. In
Yes.
fact, my pick of the week
Oh.
might be a Amazon product.
Yes, very cool.
I should have did this one. That's our Ramazan sound effect.
Ramazan. Oh, I was gonna check the Apple trade-in, but I don't think if the unit's just dead, I don't think anybody will give you
It
anything
has to
for it,
power
sadly.
on in order for
Yeah.
them to accept it.
Yes, because they have to make sure it's yours. I guess that's a very good point. Well, let's just keep the wisdom a flowing with Dave's pro tip of the week.
So this week, Nate and I actually planned ahead about an hour and a half before the show. We decided to pick a topic. It was a little more than that, but I'm going to keep it on with a couple things. What do you do when your iPhone won't turn on or is frozen? And what Nate did was take it to Apple, and then he tried to get a friend to get it to work. So we'll see how that works.
I tried that page. I visited that page probably 10 times in the last week, and each time I was like, I know I've tried these things before, but I'm going to try them all again.
Well, so Apple has some great support articles on how to fix some of these things, and you'll go across some old iMore website article that says, here's how you do it, and it's like the pictures of an iPad that came out in the Nixon administration. So here we go. It is you have to do a search. We'll have the link in the show notes. But so for example, your phone, if your phone won't turn on or is frozen, there's that little animation there. You hit the down arrow, and then you hit the power button. Let's see if I can get my phone up to the screen here. So it's saying, I guess you don't need to know my calendar. There, we'll do the weather. So you hit the quick press and quickly release the volume up button, press the down button, and then hold the power button, and it's going to do the slide off. But if you can't get your thing to turn on or whatever, it'll do a reset. So anyway, it's kind of this weird rhythm that you've got to do to get it to do what you want to do. But anyway, I'm sorry, that's on your iPhone 8 and later, including the SE. All right, so then if you have an older phone, and I think this is a 7, right? It's saying press and hold both sides of the volume down until you see the Apple logo. It takes about 6 seconds. And so press and hold both the side button and the volume down until you see the Apple logo. So I'm going to just try it here. I have nothing to lose. Didn't hold it. I'm touching the screen. So there, see? I didn't have to slide. It just turned off. The other one would have done that too if I would have waited longer. All right, so then we've got if your phone turns on but gets stuck during startup, it's got some suggestions. Connect it to your computer, select it on your computer, and follow the steps. And they've got stuff for iPhone 7, iPhone 6 even with the lightning cable and all this stuff. They've got all the information there. And that's not all. What if it's an iPad? Well, there's a couple different instructions for the iPads. And let's try it on Nate's while we're here.
Try it one more time for the 50th time.
Maybe it'll work. So it says,
that would be amazing. That would be the miracle of the live show, is that you do it now and we just see an Apple logo.
That would be amazing.
I have it memorized if you just want me to tell you from memory.
Well, I'm going to make sure I'm following the instructions exactly. So it's going to say on your iPad without a home button. This one does not have the little circle home button at the bottom. So press and quickly release the volume button closest to your thing. And mine's on the side. Well, here, let me go to the bigger. Sorry, Nate. Mine's on the side here, or yours. Yeah. And then there's the power button on top. This is the way it's supposed to go. So it would be this button, and then it's the bottom volume button, and then finally the top button. And so you would go up, down, top. And I'm going to press and hold.
Come on.
Oh, no.
Look at that.
That's a light. And as you and I have experienced doing this 1,000 times, nothing. So hopefully your mileage would vary into the affirmative lane. So let me go back here. And then they have instructions. If you do have a home button, that's this button here at the bottom. If you do have one of those home buttons, you just basically press the home button and the power button at the top, and it'll reset it. It won't reset it. It will force restart it. That's what we're
Yes,
going for on
force
all these.
restart.
And they have instructions if you get your iPad, but it's stuck during the startup. They have instructions of what to do. And so Apple's thought of all this stuff, but as you can tell with Nate's, sometimes it just doesn't work. Now, something that could have happened to this is that there was a defect in the battery and it just stopped holding a charge. Like it just depleted to 0 and it won't charge. It could have been, you said you keep it in your bag. You may keep your bag in your car. It may get hot. It could have been something where there was a temperature flex from hot to cold, and the soldering joints on a chip expanded and contracted and caused it to break. And so there's a tiny little micro fracture on some trace or some chip or some solder joint somewhere that's preventing it from turning on. Who knows what it is?
Could
be anything.
Yeah, they said it could have been moisture too. I don't think either that nor my old Pixel phone that you also have that also died. So I had 2 devices died. They both were in the same pocket of my backpack most of the time, but we don't think it's related. We just think that for some reason my devices are dying. But yes, and I will say I had this book within arm's reach. Apple follows this book. They ask, you answer. If they can have wonderfully easy to read pages telling you the simple troubleshooting tip, they save themselves millions with an M of visits to the Apple Store and chats and phone calls. So they are very invested with the number of customers they have to have very helpful notes. So,
and speaking of moisture, one of the tips that I'm gonna another pro tip: if you have a 3D printer, it has a hotbed on the bottom, and I'm planning on laying your iPad on the. It's
just
like a
to
big
see
glass thing, and I'm gonna warm it up. I'm not gonna. I probably won't cover it or anything. I don't want to get it too hot, but you can control the temperature of the bed. And I'm just gonna set it on there and let it be in a warm environment for a couple hours, probably, just to make sure there's not any moisture in there.
So. Yeah, you could do that. There was also a YouTube video I found of a guy that had the first stage was you tap in all different places and then you kind of smack and then you really smack it to see if something. The guy at the Apple store is like, "Ooh, I haven't seen that video." And at the end of it, I was joking. I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it with me. Maybe I'll try the real hard smacks and see if it does anything." But yes, and Wes in the chat said someone sabotaged it. #EMP. Yes, I'm being targeted by the government. They're after me and trying to get my devices one by one.
It's Mr. Beast's cronies out there because you're doing bootleg.
Copyright.
Yeah, bootleg swag.
True. They're on to me. Well, thank you for that, David. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Just the Headlines. Oh, look at those leaves.
There they are.
Yeah, I got to watch the landscaping team for our neighborhood with their army of leaf blowers polluting the air, blowing all the leaves down the street today.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing when those loud leaf blowers are out there blowing, especially when it's after 10 p.m. at night in some cases. But yes, we have a beautiful fall evening. The temperature is somewhere. It's something.
Oh, and we do have lots of leaves, including your leaf with the charging indicator on the dashboard there.
It is.
You're almost at 3 bars of battery.
Yeah, it's just like your cell phone. It's when the bars are full, you've got full service. Yeah. So, a quick. Do we have time for a quick side story?
Yeah, do it.
So, I took my friend to Las Vegas, and I needed to meet him at a place so we could get in the truck and drive there. I go out in the morning, and I guess I'll leave this on here. Darn, I keep hitting the wrong thing. I go out. I'm on the porch there by my welcome sign. I set my bag down. I go unplug the charger, put it in its little case, unplug it, put the charger in my back seat, close the door, hop in my car, look around, check it. Boom, I'm gone. This is like 5 o'clock in the morning. I get to the guy's place. It's still dark. It's like 5:30 at this point. And he goes, "Okay, you got all your stuff?" And I'm like, Where did I put my bag? Where's this bag?
On the porch, duh.
It was on the porch, so I had to wake my wife up, although I think she was awake. And she met me kind of 30% closer to where my house was.
Yeah.
But here's where the story comes in. My car is only good for about 85 miles on a charge. And it was like 90% charge, so I think I had like a 75-mile range. And if you drive fast or uphill or whatever, it can affect the range. Anyway, driving there and then driving back to our rendezvous spot and then back to the place again pretty much depleted my entire battery. And so while I was in Vegas, I'm just thinking, how am I going to get my car home? It wasn't dead, but it was like it got so low, it doesn't tell you the distance. It just flashes a thing that says charge. So anyway, there was a charger about a mile and a half away and it made it there, no problem. But I was clenching some things the whole time.
Oof.
But yeah, that's a story when you have when you don't plan ahead and you leave your things behind.
Electric cars. Ugh. As we were discussing earlier today, we won't do a double sidestep on that one, but we will get to just the headlines.
So, let's do that again. What is it called?
Just the headlines.
Alien Romulus is getting a VHS release. Yes, really.
Just
Todd.
for producer Todd. Cheating alleged after men's world conker champion found with steel chestnut.
I don't know any of those words. Amazon discontinues the last Kindle with physical buttons.
Amazon finally has a color Kindle, and it looks pretty good.
And finally, Byju's founder says his... What is that?
EdTech.
Baidu's founder says his edtech startup, once worth $22 billion with a B, is now worth 0.
And those are just the headlines. Sorry I threw the Kindle stories in there. I know that's emotional stuff for you there.
Well, I'm going to have to get my screen bigger too. It's like, what was that word that I tried to say?
EdTech. I should have changed. I will let the viewers and listeners know sometimes on just the headlines, I will slightly, especially when it's abbreviations. And this one, I figured everybody knew what a VHS was.
Yeah.
But EdTech, educational technology startup. But yeah, I wasn't familiar with Byju.
I did not know that's what that meant. How do you, maybe we could do a special tip of the week. What is the best way to increase the text size of Apple Notes? Do I have to change the resolution of my monitor? Like, why can't I just scale it?
Command Shift period will zoom in.
Command Shift period. Not Command plus or minus, because that would be what everybody else does.
Yes.
So Command Shift period, you say?
Yes, and then comma to zoom out, or you can go under the view menu, which is what I typically do.
So, comma. Wait, hold on. Gotta get these. Oh, you're right. Yeah, period. Think of it this way. It's the right bracket and left bracket, so that's why it makes a little more sense.
Oh, yes. Which it should show you.
So thank you. That's much better.
That'll make just the headlines smoother in the future, people. The stuff we do for you. We take time out to tell you how to zoom in and out. A little pro tip for Apple Notes.
Do it.
Well, let us move on to our takes of the week. This first one, we talked last week about the FTC and the new password rules that they're putting out. Well, FTC's on a roll. Their rule banning fake online reviews goes into effect. Whoa. Now, if you think all fake online reviews are just going to go away, think different. But they now have avenues for prosecuting or penalizing people that are found to be either selling or purchasing fake
So
reviews.
is
So
Amazon just going to go out of business then, or
I think
what?
pretty much, yeah. I've had people reach out to me to do where they'll send me something for free, and then I'm supposed to leave an Amazon review. And I did a couple, and it was just like cables and stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it will be interesting to see how much impact this has on the industry, because we do know, and we've talked about many times, how Amazon and many online sites just have fake reviews. What will change now, Dave, is they'll just have AI write reviews for them.
I caught a fish this big.
Yes, that is Lena
Shannon?
Khan,
Yeah.
the commissioner of the FTC. So they have been doing something. Maybe they're trying to get some stuff pushed through before an election so that they can get some stuff off their plate. But she said fake reviews not only waste people's time and money, but also pollute the marketplace and divert business away from honest competitors. She added that the rule will protect Americans from getting cheated, put businesses that unlawfully game the system on notice, and promote markets that are fair, honest, and competitive.
I, for
Um,
one, am happy that the government's actually doing something to protect their citizenry.
yes,
Thank you, Lena.
thank you for that. And the one thing that does pop into my mind is how this relates with foreign sellers. But hey, we'll take what we can get.
Yes.
And the roll keeps on rolling. The FTC, we talked about this on the Mark and Toddcast. The FTC is finally making it easier to cancel your gym membership slash all memberships. The click to cancel rule will stop companies from making you take unnecessary steps to cancel a subscription.
And there's our friend Lena again, right there.
Yes, and it says under the rule, businesses can't force customers to cancel a subscription using a method different from how they signed up. For example, if you signed up for a subscription with an online form, companies can't require you to call them, New York Times, or chat with a live agent to cancel.
Yes.
The FTC will also require businesses to clearly disclose the terms of their subscriptions and get customer consent before changing them
I think
or charging them. Oh, before charging them. Yes,
charging them.
if there is a cancellation fee or if you have to pay out a amount of your subscription. So,
One that I've struggled with in the past is Regal Movie Pass.
oh yeah.
They, I'm in the app now, and there's subscription details. So this is very interesting. In the app, you can sign up in the app, but when I look at my account and I go into my subscription details, I see when it auto renews. I see when the next payment is due. I can manage friends and family. There's no way to cancel on this page. And let me click on one other link. I can change my payment method, but I can't turn off the service. So you have to go, I believe, to their
Yes.
website and either email or call customer service to do so. So that's going to change. So
Yes.
what is the timeline on this where I can just hit a red button to cancel it and they'll go,
Let's see. I
"Are you
don't know.
sure you want to cancel? All your Facebook friends will be sad." Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
that's Facebook that does that.
Will go into effect 180 days after it's published in the federal register. But yes, and they call that dark patterns in the UI design world, where
Yes.
it's impossible to find stuff. And I've had that so many times where it's like, I have clicked everywhere on your website and I have to contact support and say, how do I cancel? And they say, oh, if you look in the text that we turned white on a white page, you have
Yeah.
to highlight the whole page and then you'll find the tiny cancel button with the
And here's a
yes.
quick sidestep. Sorry to get into local problems. Cars in our neighborhood that have expired tags and have sat there for months, years in some cases. You used to be able to like email or submit something to the Sherwood Police Department. I verified with them this week that you have to call the non-emergency number for each thing.
Oh,
So I'm like, so I have to call. I have to tell you the location. I have to tell you the license plate and description of the car and give you all this stuff just over the phone.
yeah.
And wouldn't it be easier if I could just send you an email with a picture and a locate? I mean, they're going backwards, people. It just drives me crazy. So I have to
Yeah.
do it like 4 times. I might be able to do it all in the same call, but
Yes. Yeah, they
man, what a
probably just
burden
have to
for
have
me.
individual
It's a burden for
records
me
of it.
and the person taking the call. It's a burden for them because then they're gonna
Yeah.
have to put it in some system, you know. Anyway,
Can
it's
you just
crazy.
call them and say, "Hey, can you have police look out for expired tags and cars have been parked too long?"
Hey, can you just like enforce the law? All right,
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Maybe that'll work. Maybe that's the end of my side step.
There you go. Well, this next one related to my Mr. Beast hat, the
Yeah.
Beast Games, which we talked about before. This is the massive, I think, $5 million prize Amazon Prime game show that Mr. Beast was running.
Yeah.
Well, they lots of reports came out about issues with people not getting breaks and not giving people food and their medications, as they think they had
Whoa.
5,000 contestants. So that's brought some attention to the fact of
Whoops.
YouTuber run productions. Um, and
That's the name of his thing.
As Beast Games,
Oh,
yes.
I thought you said when you said YouTuber Run Productions. I
Oh,
thought that was the name of his thing,
no, no. It's
which would be
bringing
funny.
it's the headline: Beast Games set issues highlight growing pains in YouTuber run productions, because
Gotcha.
yes, it's not classical TV that's been doing it for 100 years.
Yeah.
So they need some little better oversight. And I couldn't imagine trying to corral 5,000 contestants for a massive game show. I think it was in Vegas, I read, but
Well, I
there's
think what
been
they
a
have to do
lawsuit. And
is they're just going to have to do it the way the movie industry and TV industry have done it for years and just conform to their methodology, unfortunately.
yeah, yes,
It'll cost them
yes,
a lot of
indeed.
money.
Yes, it will. And another one that we discussed on the Mark and Toddcast, but I thought applied quite well here. It was an article from the Spokesman Review in Spokane, Washington. No calls, no texts, no problem. A month after cell phone restrictions instituted, Spokane Public Schools teachers report benefits. So
It,
this is
is this an
one of
AI
many
photo?
schools.
No, it's a real kid, I think. I counted the fingers.
Yeah, that's quite the jump he's got going there.
That's a
But
nice look.
and the article starts out, kids are passing notes in class again. So they're one of the school district there is one of many school districts across the country which have started instituting cell phone bans during school. I think the high schoolers can have it at lunch and between classes. The younger grades just can't have phones at all
Yeah.
during school. But they're talking through. They talk about the library, that kids are checking out more books again, and people are talking to each other, and
Well, this,
um,
to quote Renee Ritchie, our YouTuber friend, uh, makes just the kind of sense that does. I
yes,
mean,
yeah.
it's like, what kids, when you don't give them a computer that has access to anything on the internet, all kinds of entertainment, all kinds of addictive
Yes.
social media, if you take that away, they at school they actually like learn more. What? Who would surprise Pikachu face? Who would have thought
Yes.
that would happen?
Yeah. No, I think it's a good thing. And as Todd was saying on the Mark and Toddcast, that the younger generation, they seem to be okay with it, because I think they realize how much of an effect it has. But back to Mr. Beast from him, he
Mm-hmm.
said Mr. Beast is being taken down in the YouTube environment between his shifty productions and his lunchable knockoff with Logan Paul and KSI. People have turned on him, and vocal YouTubers have turned on him because he's the biggest YouTuber, and something about one of his co-hosts, but I don't know anything about his videos, so don't know why, who, or what it is, and why people are miffed. And some of it, I think it is because he is the biggest YouTuber, just like any bad press about Apple gets amplified. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
there's problems with Beast Games. There have been some issues with some of his employees, to which I've said before, if you gave tons of popularity and tons of money to a bunch of high schoolers making videos, and they had uh, a lot of power and everything, some bad things would happen. Uh, yeah, I his videos still do very well. So I think it's a very small segment of YouTube people that are dissing on him, I guess. But we'll see how it plays out. We are going to try the Lunchly, his alternative to Lunchables. But we'll see.
Of course
we'll
you
see
will.
what happens with that.
And double check your video feed to make sure you don't turn into a 5 frame per second like me. To want to make sure there's no update or anything happening.
Oh, probably.
Let's see. So that's the end of our takes.
Yes. So it is time for our bonus odd take. Let's cleanse our palate after all that fun. Well, it was good news from the FTC, but this one, talk about a niche of a niche. Live streams of watering holes in the Namibian desert.
Son of a niche is copyrighted. You be careful.
Yes, kotkey.org, and it has some live streams there of different watering holes. Of course, the thumbnails for the videos are beautiful. I don't know. Yeah. It is very much nighttime in all of them, but just a couple fun things that it would be interesting to watch.
How could it be nighttime there if the world's flat, though?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I guess it's nighttime here, too. Dang it.
Busted.
Right. Shoot. Oh, here, we got a bird. We got something.
Oh, there we go. And you can find more cams and archived footage at the Namibia Cam YouTube channel, which is actually genius because they're probably making some money with these webcams, which I'm going to go out on a whim and say that Namibia could use because I wasn't too familiar with it before this point or had forgotten about it. But yeah.
So I got to ask, how are they making money with these webcams? It's costing them hosting fees unless they're going straight to YouTube.
YouTube, they do have 434,000 subscribers, total lifetime views almost 100 million, 2.64 million views in the last 30 days. So
I'm going to go to YouTube and see what we got here.
Yeah, they've got some highlights on there so you can see the action of stuff.
Oh yeah, we even got some music.
Music. Oh, and the music's even working?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, of course. I got all that fixed a long time ago. I'm going to pause it, though, because I don't want to get a strike. Yes. So there's that waterhole we saw in black and white. But look, there are, let's see, we got work.
Wow, that is wild. I'm going to have to show these to Isla because that is ostriches.
Yeah, giraffes.
Giraffes drinking out of a pond is extremely amusing. Oh, and hey, Grandma has joined us, coming in really late to the show, but listening to you in the car, and Dave's audio is much lower than Nate. Maybe it's just because I'm in the car. We did have that issue late.
I think we had it last time, and
yeah, hey, Dave Grandma, changed a lot of things.
I need to fix it. But it gives you an opportunity to turn it up, and then when Nate comes in, he's really loud. And
yeah, louder Nate is the better option there.
Well, hey, I don't want you to just talk loud the whole time because I feel like I'm a sports announcer.
Yes. Well, speaking of sports announcers, it's time for our picks of the week.
I missed your echo on that one. Sorry. Picks of the week. Let me. Hey, talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
While I go to Amazon real quick.
Okay, do that. And I will remind people, make sure you're following me on PDX Fast Foodie, because on Instagram, I had a video that is now, it might close in on 2 million views this weekend.
2 million with an M.
Yeah, so it hit 1 million last Friday night. It is, too loud.
Whoa.
It is currently at almost 1.8 million views. It'll probably hit 1.8 million tonight. 34,000 shares, 14,000 likes, almost 2,000 comments. Wow. It is. I have hit the big time. So PDX Fast Foodie, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you want to follow me. If you enjoy food and would like to enjoy it more, possibly follow me. And Dave, did you get to Amazon?
I did, and I think I'm going to draw the line at just, you can find me here.
Yeah. Tuesday nights, find Dave Tuesday nights on
I've
the
spent
live
a lot of
show.
time not giving my information away for free.
Yes.
So follow me through Nate. If you want to get a hold of me, talk to Nate on one of his
Yeah,
platforms.
I am
along.
Dave's agent.
Yeah. So my pick this week is something that is a replacement for a previous pick of the week. I had picked, I didn't bring it up, but I picked the Logitech iPad keyboard case, which was really nice. I liked it. But then I discovered in regular use case of it, it's really long. It's really like long. With the you got to put the keyboard and then the iPad and then the little kickstand and
really deep, you should say.
Deep. It's very deep. And when you're on a little table at Starbucks with your spouse and you're like, oh, I'm going to put my iPad up here and do some work while you were having coffee, it doesn't. She has to leave, which I mean, plus minus, whatever. But what I've got here is the official Apple Magic keyboard.
Nice.
12.9 inch. Here we go. And unlike Nate, I have a working iPad.
Hey, rude.
Rude. And these things are great because look, what it does is it hovers the iPad much closer to the keyboard. The other one, which was great, I really liked it, but it was here, and then the kickstand came out another whatever. It's like the kickstand was like
that's there. A lot of square footage.
So if you're sitting in a chair, you got to have your legs on extended so you can put the kickstand on them because it's floppy otherwise. This one holds its form without the kickstand, which has its own disadvantages, but it also has advantages. And unlike like earlier models, it has a tiltable tilt adjust. So the bad thing is it doesn't have the lit keyboard. At least I don't think it does. Oh, it actually does. You can't control it, but it's just automatic lit keyboard. The other one you could kind of adjust the brightness right on the keyboard, and it had an extra row on here so that you could like go hit your home button, your brightness button, your volume button. This one doesn't have that. You have to use shortcuts instead. And the trackpad on the Logitech is much bigger. This one is a little smaller. But as you can imagine, Apple's fit and finish on iPad integration is slightly better than Logitech's, although Logitech wasn't bad. So anyway, I bought a refurbished model, as we were discussing earlier, on Amazon. It came in a box. It came with all the documentation, which I don't need for this thing. And there were no blemishes. It wasn't like factory brand new peel off the plastic, and it obviously had been opened and used, but there were no blemishes or marks or dirt or anything like that. Nice. And I'm okay with that. I saved like $120 or something like that. Yeah,
that's worth it.
$120.02 just by buying refurbished. So I recommend either buying refurbished from Apple or from Amazon. Renewed is actually Amazon's word they use.
Official.
Yeah. So you can find some refurbished products from third parties or whatever. Your mileage will definitely vary with those. But if you go through Amazon Renewed, if it's bad, you just send it back.
Yeah.
They give you your money back. It's not a problem.
Very nice. So nice little upgrade for you.
Yeah.
Well, my pick is also an Apple accessory for an Apple device, and it's actually something you recommended to me, Dave. It is the Elago Clear Case compatible with Apple Vision Pro case, TPU cover, protective cover compatible with Vision Pro VR glasses, headset protector, anti-scratch, anti-yellowing, transparent. And what this is, I'm actually popping it off so you can actually see it. It is just...
Oh, yeah.
It's very clear. Transparent thing that snaps over. It's got all the holes for all the cameras and the venting, or the clear plastic, at least
and
for
it's
those.
Like a little rubberized deal, right?
Yeah. And then it just kind of snaps on there. So for all of our listeners out there with Vision Pros, you can go pick one of these up. And I just noticed, I was going to say, it's got perfect 5-star rating. Guess how many ratings there are?
32,000.
One rating.
Ooh.
I might have been the second person to ever buy this
You know what?
product,
I
but
forgot what product we were talking about. One, there aren't very many Vision Pros in the world, and
yes.
this is a very niche
Yes.
product. So my mistake. But
Niche
one
of a
is funny.
niche, but I thank you for that recommendation. You recommended it several months ago, and I had it on my wish list, and I think maybe they had a couple bucks off or
Yeah.
10% off, and I was like, you know what?
Now you don't have to worry about banging it on
Yeah,
something and scratching
it's
it.
one less thing to worry about on there. So
Yeah,
there
very
you
good.
go. And if you would like either of our picks, you can go to notpicks.com for those Amazon affiliate links that we love it when you click through. And you guys keep doing it because I've got a new Ramazon purchase of the week. And this week we have the Logitech M185 wireless mouse, 2.4 gigahertz with USB mini receiver, 12-month battery life, 1000 DPI optical tracking, ambidextrous PC Mac laptop, Swift Gray for 1377, 4.5 stars on 30. This one does have 33,291 ratings.
Swift
Um,
Gray.
and
Loved
I
it.
will, I'd be interested to hear from whoever uses this. One thing, especially with laptops, the USB, where you have the little dongle you have to put in the computer. Mine
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
this model that I have from TechNet that I've talked about these ones before, this one is both USB and Bluetooth. So you can
Yeah.
use either connection because sometimes you don't want to just have that dongle hanging off there. But 1377 for a little wireless Logitech mouse. Very simple, very straightforward, but I'm sure it gets the job done. So
Yeah.
thank you for ever purchased that. I think we got 2.5 cents in affiliate fees on that. So
Well, and I've
that'll,
used similar mice from Logitech, and they're great.
yeah,
But I too, you can't beat this price. I mean,
yeah,
that anything around $10 for a really solid mouse is really
yeah,
great.
yeah,
But the Bluetooth functionality will allow you to use it without that little dongle. But hey, if it's your desktop computer, who cares? It's in the back
yeah.
of the thing. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah, and I have my docking station here, so here at home,
And
I
for
just use
gaming,
the USB, and
the,
it'll be a little better response than
yeah,
Bluetooth.
the
Um,
USB wireless thing is a much faster response than Bluetooth. So it is
yes.
a better experience for sure.
Yes, so enjoy that mouse, whoever it
Mm-hmm.
was.
Congrats.
Ah, and with that, I think that's about a show.
Yeah, we've
Thank you for everybody that tuned into the live show on YouTube Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, ring that bell so you'll get a reminder. I actually got a reminder that half an hour before on my phone that said,
yeah.
"Not Nerds going live in half an hour" from my other YouTube account, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we
And hey,
should
Grandma
do a
says
show."
she loves her case. I'm assuming is what she was talking about, and it has a holder for her magic pencil too. Can't leave home without it. So
Yes,
that is good.
very cool. Well, hopefully you got a lot out of that one, a lot of helpful stuff today, so you can get out there and tech better.
That's the wrong one.